Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if digging deeper into a news story actually makes you smarter about it, especially when it comes to fake news? Well, this new study has some surprising answers. Today, we're diving into a really interesting study that looks at how confident we feel about our judgments and how that makes us want to seek more information, especially when we're trying to figure out what is real and what is fake online. You know, like when you see a headline and you are not quite sure if it is true or a total fabrication. Well, how does that feeling of uncertainty push you to find out more? And more importantly, does that extra digging actually help, or can it actually make things worse, especially with fake news? So here is the big question the researchers wanted to answer in the world of fake news. Does our confidence in our initial judgment make us seek out more information, like reading the full article? And if we do seek more information, does it make us better at spotting fake news, or does it trick us? They even looked at something called confirmation bias, which is like our brain's tendency to stick with what it already believes. To figure this out, they gathered about 314 people in the US. These folks were shown political news headlines. First, they had to decide if the headline was true or fake. Then they rated how confident they were in that decision. After that, they were given a choice. They could either stop there or they could click to read the full article before making their final decision. And get this. If they chose to read the full article, it was always a fake news one, even if they initially thought the headline was true. After reading the full article, they made their final judgment, and again rated their confidence and how likely they were to share it. They also asked how likely they were to share the news. It sounds like a pretty clever way to see what happens when people dig deeper. Now, for the first big finding, remember how I said confidence plays a role? Well, it turns out that when people felt less sure about their initial judgment, whether the headline was true or fake, they were way more likely to want to read the full article. This makes a lot of sense, right? When you are uncertain, you want more information. So it seems like our feeling of confidence is a pretty good signal for when we need to do more research. That part aligns with what we see in simpler decision-making tasks, like figuring out if you are seeing one object or two. But here is where it gets tricky. While our confidence tells us when we need more information, the study found that for fake news, this confidence isn't a reliable guide for accuracy. Think about it this way. In simple tasks, if you are confident, you are usually right. If you are not confident, you are probably wrong, and seeking more info helps. But with fake news, it is not so straightforward. This is the really mind-blowing part. The researchers found a U-shaped relationship between confidence and accuracy for fake news. What does that mean? It means people were actually more accurate when they had low confidence or high confidence in their initial judgment about a fake headline. But when they were in the middle, feeling somewhat confident, their accuracy actually dropped. So when people felt super sure a fake headline was true or super unsure, they were more likely to be correct. But that mid-level confidence was the most misleading. And because low confidence makes you seek more information, it means you end up seeking more information on stories where you might actually be more accurate anyway. And you skip looking deeper into the ones that are truly confusing you. It's like your brain is sending you on a wild goose chase. Now, let's talk about actually reading the full article. You'd think that getting more details would help you spot fake news, right? Well, this study found the opposite. For true news, yes, reading more information made people more accurate. That's the good news. But for fake news, reading the full article actually made people worse at detecting it. Their accuracy dropped below chance. This is a huge problem because people often seek out more information when they are feeling uncertain. And in this case, that extra information is making them more likely to believe the fake news. It is like the more you read, the more you buy into the lie. Think about it this way. People started out being slightly better than guessing when it came to spotting fake news headlines. But after they read the full fake article, they actually became worse than guessing. They were more likely to believe the fake news was true after digging into it, which is just the opposite of what you'd want. This is a critical finding because it challenges the idea that simply providing more information is always the answer. What about sharing intentions? Did reading more make people more likely to share fake news? Interestingly, seeking additional information didn't really change whether people intended to share fake news. This is a bit of a silver lining. While it didn't help them detect fake news better, it also didn't push them to share it more. At least not for fake news. However, for true news. Seeking information actually made them more likely to share it, especially if it aligned with their existing beliefs. The researchers also looked at what is called confirmation bias. This is where we tend to favor information that confirms what we already believe. They found a context-driven confirmation bias for beliefs. This means if you were very confident in your initial belief about a news headline, whether true or fake, You were less likely to change your mind after reading the full article. Even if the new information contradicted your initial belief, high confidence made you stick to your guns. However, this didn't seem to apply to sharing intentions. Your desire to share something wasn't as driven by that confidence-based confirmation bias. So, what does all of this mean? The key takeaway is that while our confidence often drives us to seek more information, this process is suboptimal when it comes to fake news. First, our confidence in judging fake news just doesn't reliably tell us how accurate we are. We can be highly confident about something that is completely false. Second, actually reading the full fake news article instead of helping can actively make us worse at detecting fake news. This research highlights a crucial flaw in how we approach fake news. We tend to seek more information when we're uncertain, which seems logical. But that uncertainty isn't always tied to accuracy when it comes to fake news. And that confidence bias means we might be reinforcing our wrong beliefs rather than correcting them. They suggest that training people to better understand which cues are reliable indicators of fake news might help calibrate their confidence. The most striking finding is that reading the full fake news article can actually decrease accuracy. This is a serious issue for interventions that might encourage reading more articles. It suggests that the problem isn't just about access to information, but the type and source of that information. The researchers hint that seeking information from independent and reliable sources, rather than just the primary news source itself, might be a more effective strategy. For example, using a search engine to find fact-checked information has shown promise in other studies. The study also showed that we tend to avoid information that contradicts our existing beliefs. This is particularly true for true news where, if it aligns with our views, we're less likely to seek confirming information, and for fake news, we were more accurate when the headline was belief incongruent, meaning it went against our political leanings. This pattern was actually made worse after seeking additional information, suggesting that our existing beliefs can really blind us to the truth. It is somewhat encouraging that seeking more information didn't increase the intention to share fake news. While it doesn't make us better at spotting it, it at least doesn't seem to fuel the spread of misinformation through sharing in the same way. This could complement other strategies like nudging people to focus on accuracy before sharing. One limitation the researchers pointed out is that their sample was heavily liberal, making it hard to compare with conservative participants. They mentioned that conservatives might be more exposed to fake news, so future research should aim for more diverse political representation and explore this in different countries. I think future research could also look into exactly what it is about reading the full fake article that makes people believe it more. Is it the persuasive language, the emotional appeals, or something else entirely? Understanding that could lead to better interventions. Overall, this study is a wake-up call. It tells us that our intuition about how to tackle fake news by simply seeking more information might be flawed. Instead of assuming more information is always better, we need to be much more critical about where we're getting our information and how our own confidence can sometimes mislead us. What are your thoughts on these findings? Do you find yourself seeking more information when you feel uncertain or overconfident? Let us know in the comments below, and if you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more deep dives into the fascinating world of psychology. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.